Hi, this is Robert. I just want to give you a short video today about some changes I've made to my portfolio, my retirement portfolio. And it's no dollar amounts, just percentages, and why I made the changes. Let me start by saying I am not a financial advisor. I'm going to share some of the changes I've made to my portfolio, and that's a common thing here on YouTube. This is not financial advice, especially when I talk about harvesting long-term taxable gains. You need to look that up. Don't take my word for that. It's something I just discovered myself. So I want to throw that disclaimer in. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Where the portfolio was, well, earlier this year, my portfolio before these changes was like 27% equities and 73% fixed income. Back in April, we had a dip in the stock market, and I did some tax loss harvesting. And since that time, the stock market has really been increasing the equity percentage in my portfolio. And it got a little bit higher than I'd like it. So I just took this opportunity the last couple of weeks in this rally to make some changes. Where we stand now is 20% equities and 80% fixed income, and that's intentional, and I'll tell you why. Reason number one, age and risk. Well, in 2026, I'll turn 78, and my wife will turn 79. And I think I'm comfortable with that old rule of thumb, your age in bonds. And so at this stage, my goal, of course, is I want to keep up and keep my portfolio as close to where it is now as possible. And it's doing a pretty good job. It's actually increasing a little bit. But we are not looking for growth. We're just looking to preserve what we have. I sold SCHD in my IRA accounts. That's the Schwab High Dividend ETF. I sold all of that in the IRA accounts, and I bought vtIP. That's the Vanguard Short-Term Inflation-Protected Securities ETF. So it's short-term, I think like 3 years in duration. And I already had that ETF, and I've increased it quite a bit with that purchase. Change number two, I did some long-term gain harvesting in VTI. Back in April, I did some tax loss harvesting, but now I found out about you can have long-term gain harvesting. I'm not going to try to tell you in detail how to do that, but I would look it up. I reduced equities further by selling VTI in my taxable account, some, enough to get me down to the 20% equities. And, that's a planned sale, a rebalance here at year end. Why was this a pleasant surprise? Well, again, long-term gain harvesting, if your taxable income is roughly $97,000 or below, you can realize long-term capital gains and up to that amount and pay zero federal tax. Zero federal tax. And that allowed me to kind of rebalance and without triggering a tax bill, because my sales in the IRA were not taxable. And using this, I was able to sell some VTI and not have to pay tax on those long-term capital gains, which is a pleasant surprise. So I only hold VTI in my taxable account now. I hold no equities in my IRA accounts. Vanguard inflation protection, and I think with all the bonds I've got, that's could be a risk of mine is inflation. And I've got a couple of things I use to hedge against that. And one of those is the vtIP and ETF. And I already had that ETF, but I've greatly increased it now with selling the Schwab High Dividend and buying vtIP. Important clarifications from last video, and this discussion is only about my brokerage portfolio. Separately, I own them physical gold coins, and I just got those stored separately. I don't buy gold stocks. I don't buy junior gold mining stocks. I buy the physical gold coins. I started buying those in 2006 with the gold buffaloes, and they've steadily increased over the years. I bought some every year, and it's been a very good investment. I've sold a few, and but I keep those stored separately, and it's done an excellent job, this year protecting against inflation, and last year too. So I'm not going to sell all of those. I'm going to hold on to that because that is an inflation protection. I don't like to make changes in my portfolio, but I think year-end rebalance is appropriate, and I think it's going to work out really well for me this year. I can't wait till I get the TurboTax filled out and see how things stand. And if they look as good as I think they are, I think I'll be very happy. So I still have equity exposure with a 20%, and if I'm lucky and stocks go up, that'll be great. That I'll benefit from the 20% equities I have. If stocks take a tank and go down during the year, I've got enough cash where I can get back up to that 20% and buy some stocks at a discount. That's the video I have for you this week. I hope you'll join me back next week. I'll have another video on something completely different. And I thank you for watching, and I appreciate you being here.